Hey, welcome to this live tech show. This is Learn the Tech, show number 7. We are Tuesday, March the 1st, 2016. And today we're talking about the bad guys. Well, not necessarily. We'll see that hackers are not necessarily always bad guys. But hackers, what they do, how they affect us, the internet, companies, that's the subject today. So Learn the Tech is a show every Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, North America. That's 2300 hours Universal Time. So hope you like the show and that you can join us today. So hackers, that's an interesting subject. And Learn the Tech, by the way, is a show where you choose the subject. And this was chosen by you, the viewer. Wanted to know what hackers do, why they exist, and why do they do what they do? What exactly makes a hacker do what they want to do? Why do they do bad things? In the mind of everybody, the hacker is a bad guy because that's the side that we see from hackers. So basically, hackers, you know what? For a long time, and even today, I would guess, for a long time, we think of hackers as these young guys about 15, 16 years old, and they would be in the basement of their homes and doing bad things and try to crack or hack something. And by the way, hacking and cracking is different. And we're going to learn a little bit about that later. So, that obscure guy that has no friends somewhere in a basement, and he's trying to get into these government agencies. Hacking has come a long way. For a long time, hacking was like kind of some being notorious. You're just there and you're trying to do something that the world's going to talk about, and you're just so happy. And, we have a famous case here in Montreal. A little boy that was about 16 years old at the time. Even less, I think it was like 14 or something. And, some of you might remember in the year 2000s, a little more, this guy called Mafia Boy. That guy crippled Google and crippled the internet. And, he made billions of dollars of damages. And that's the guy from Montreal here where I am. And we talked about a lot of, that guy back then. I've had a show the other day where they were talking about computer security, and they were talking about him and actually interviewed the guy who did that. Now he's working for a famous security firm, and he's trying to find all these flaws, that maybe people can go through. So what's a hacker and why does he do what he do? And we'll see there's different types of hackers, and that's interesting because there's not just the bad guys. There's the good guys and the hackers also, the ones that want to help the world. Understand that we live in a world where security on the computer level is barely making it correctly. You know what? It's almost scary. The more you read about hackers, the more you read about how companies take care of our security and how the security of the internet works, the scarier you are. And I mean, if you're the kind of person that gets scared easily, this show isn't for you. I'm going to scare you tonight, I'm pretty sure, because there's going to be a lot of bad things we're going to talk about. But the show is also meant to help you understand why you get hacked, why bad guys do what they do. It's very surprising. You know what? Hackers are very often, we think of hackers as these really competent person that will really have a knowledge, incredible knowledge of, almost every security flaw that lets a hacker in a big business or in a government agency is because somebody somewhere is dumb. And you know what? That's what we're going to try to prevent today. We're going to show you the dumb things also that you do every day that lets these people do what they want. So, when we talk about hackers, The most famous group we know right now, of course, and everybody knows, Anonymous. Anonymous is all over the news. They've kind of taken over the realm and the world of hacking. And we all think of, oh God, that Anonymous group, they're powerful. Well, you know what? One of the things you need to know about Anonymous, they're not a group. They're people here and there all around the world, each in their own countries, each in their own homes. They don't have, like Saturday night meetings. Hey, let's have a anonymous hacking group tonight. We'll meet up at 7 o'clock. That's not how it works. Of course not, because that's the way they would be caught. Anonymous, we'll call Anonymous kind of the gray hacker. And you'll see there are what I mean by that in a few moments. Because there's white hats, black hats, gray hats. I put Anonymous in the gray hats because Anonymous, there's some good things. There's some bad things. I'm not sure they mean bad when they do something, but I'm sure that they mean serious business. And we'll see how they can actually operate and do things. That's pretty amazing, basically. So what's the different categories? Now, this is a simplified category, okay? Because there's tons of categories of hackers out there, basically. There's the white hat. The white hat is a hacker that wants to help the world. He's a good guy. He's the one that says, oh, I found a security flaw in Windows. I'm going to go to Microsoft and let them know, look, there's a security flaw here. They're the ones that, they'll call a big business and say, look, you got a security flaw in your website or a security flaw in some product that you made that we can exploit and do bad things with. So they're the good guys. The white hats are the good guys. There's the black hats at the opposite end. The black hats, they're the bad guys. They're the ones, they're like, I am hacking into this computer or this government agency to get information that I can maybe make money off. Because let's face it, today's hackers, for a lot of them, is money. Money talks, and money talks in hacking also. So why not? If I can hack into a bank and get $10 million, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Sorry for the brightness, by the way, of the screen, because I could see that it's very bright. And one of the biggest problems I have actually right now is because of a problem in the, let's see if it's better like this. Because of a problem in my lighting last week, I'm waiting for lighting bars that should actually make it much better. So sorry for the really heavy lighting here. So black hat are the bad guys. They want to make money. They want to steal stuff. They want to sell this. They want to have the credit cards of everybody. They want to have the bad stuff. They're the bad guys. Gray hats, they're in the middle. Depends on their moods. They sometimes will do, oh, there's a security flaw here. I think you should fix it. They'll sometimes be in the other side where they're going to say, hey, I can get credit cards information. Let's do it and make a little money and make a little cash in the way. So different categories, of course. Different levels of knowledge also. The biggest problem, and it's really bad because you can't see what's happening here. I'm sorry, guys. Next week's going to be better. You're going to see. I'm going to have my new lighting. So there's level of knowledge that's different. The level of knowledge of hackers is very, 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 very different. And the least knowledgeable is the script kiddie that they call. The script kiddie, you know what? They use tools. They use programs that exist. An example of a script kiddie, I talked to you about Mafia Boy, that guy that, almost brought down the internet. And you know what? That guy didn't know much. That guy was not even good with computers. That guy had a tool that was very powerful. And all he did is use that tool. And that made a lot of damage. But the guy himself, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good, actually. And so, there's all sorts of different little things that happens with hackers. Some are good with code. Some are good with, all sorts of programming skills. Some are good at other things, and we'll see. Some are good at what. One of the first things about hackers is how do they get into our systems? How do they do what they do, basically? One of the first things that they actually do is use an exploit. Now, you can't read what's here probably. An exploit. An exploit, you know what? An exploit is a flaw in a piece of software, a flaw in a piece of hardware. And that flaw, basically, what it does is simply let someone exploit it, inject something. So, when we say in computers, update your system, make sure you're up to date with everything. It is very important because being updated means that these flaws cannot be exploited. It means that these flaws are closed, so you're already safe. And very often I say, please make your Windows updates. It's simple. If you make your Windows updates, you are already 90% secure. It's already much more secure than you can imagine. And exploits are everywhere. Why? We think of computers as these perfect things, like these, computer's really perfect. It does a job and does it perfectly. Yeah, but the computers are made by humans, and humans are not perfect. Humans are the ones that are the problem. We create these computers. They're supposed to be perfect, but they're made by humans that are imperfect. So they're not perfect. The code always has something. The code has something you can go through. There's something you can break. There's something you can exploit in there. There's a lot of flaws, and there probably are thousands of flaws that are still, and millions of flaws in every types of system that we haven't even seen yet. And someone, somewhere, someday will say, hey, there's a hole here. I can pass through this place and do what I want. So that's the first thing that they will use. A security flaw is probably the one of the very important things that they will do. And we see it on the web because we see people going on websites. They say, I haven't clicked anything. How come I have a virus? Because your system is not up to date. You went on a website that had a little something, a script of some programming code, and that programming code could exploit that little hole you had in your system. When you have that hole, it just comes through. There's nothing you can do about it except update your system. Even antivirus is not perfect on that. It's not because you have an antivirus that it won't actually infect you. That's why updates are important in systems. That's for sure. That's for sure. Computer viruses are also tools used by hackers of all sorts. And they come in different formats. And that's interesting because the viruses is something obscure. For most people, computer viruses are like this weird, I don't understand what is a virus exactly. I don't even understand how come I get a virus in my computer. And that's the thing, is that you don't understand you get a virus in your computer because the way that in the different viruses, the way that they actually are brought to you. I don't know, and 15, 16 years of tech guy, how many people told me, I have no idea how come I got a virus. And when I look at their computer, when I look at what they do, I understand clearly why they're infected. But for them, it's, I have no idea. They've downloaded some weird software somewhere they wanted. They've got, illegal movies through some weird website, porn sites, whatever. So viruses are popular for the hacker. Some of the viruses, Trojan horse or the Trojan. A Trojan is simply something disguised into something that it's not. So you're going on the web and you're like, okay, oh, look at that. That's the new player that lets me listen to the latest albums from Lady Gaga and Britney Spears, and I can listen to whatever I want. Oh, but the problem is that once you install it, it doesn't do that exactly. Once it's installed, you actually install something that does something else. It's trying to replicate. It's trying to infect your machine. It might be even very quiet. Some programs are really well made. You install it, you see nothing. You're like, okay, I'm going to uninstall it. But it's too late. What do you have in your computer? You have a rootkit. Rootkits are scary because rootkits are some of the low-grade, very level-based viruses that basically are very, very difficult for any antivirus to detect. And I can tell you that there's a lot of rootkits out there that infect machines that antivirus don't even see. And it always comes back to what I say all the time. People laugh sometimes when I say, I don't care what antivirus you have. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with your machine. Well, that's an example. That's what you did. This is something you did. You went and installed some piece of software because you wanted to have free music, free movies, whatever. See that naked girl that you wanted to see all the time. Well, you know what? It brought you a piece of software disguised, but it's something else. It's a bad guy. It's something bad in your computer that's actually doing something. So when you hear about, oh, you've got a Trojan, that's because you add a software disguised as something else. That's a Trojan. And it happens often. It's one of the popular ways of getting infected because our human nature wants us to have gain and control over something. It's like, hey, I love music. Look at that. That piece of software gives me all the free music I want. Yeah, it's disguised. It steals information from you. It reads your credit card when you're actually buying something online. It's bad stuff. Computer worm is another type. Computer worm, that's a programming code they send out. And this thing is incredible. What's a worm? A worm is a piece of code that goes in your computer. And what it does is basically replicate. And you know what? It can send itself everywhere. It not only replicates everywhere in your computer, it hides everywhere, but it's sending itself everywhere. It is really something bad. It is a piece of code, once again, there to do something. There's the old days when we had viruses, worms, Trojans that would just be pieces of code that would infect your computer, show a little, I don't know, a skull and say, hey, you're infected by something. And it was really nothing much more. Today, we make money with that. Why hackers and why these guys do all of this is because we make more and more and more money with everything. And that's the important thing about that. So hackers out there, some will write scripts, codes, all sorts of things. And it's amazing, the diverse way that they will do it. That's for sure. This is a very, very, very good way for them to actually infect you. So you finally got that bad password. You finally got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's your favorite password everywhere. I'm sorry, but if you did that at the company where you worked, you should be fired. Yep, I'd fire you instantly if you did that where you work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do you think companies get infected? Most of the time is because of this. An employee somewhere with high level security, high level access, decides that it's too complicated to remember some obscure password. And I understand that we have a lot of them. I got tons of passwords. I've got tons of accounts of all sorts. I understand that it's complex, but problem here is don't do this. This is horrible. And this is once again for I don't know how many years in a row, the #1 password. Come on, people, wake up. If this is your password anywhere and you get a virus, you get stolen, you get hacked, I'm sorry, but I'm going to laugh at you. I'm not going to say, oh, poor you. Look, come on. If you have this as a password, come on. There's a lot of ways that the hackers have access to systems, and that's one very important way. They'll go into accounts, they'll go into companies, and they'll try to enter using the most popular passwords. They also have tools that use the dictionary. By using the dictionary, they can actually go through all the words in the dictionary. So they have an idea of, okay, we'll go through all the words. And, if you've used one of the words, well, it's possible that you'll get hacked. There's a lot of stuff going out there, tiger, sunshine, hello. That's another way where hackers, when we think about it, and you'll see there's also something else coming up that you'll see that hackers, for a lot of them, not every hacker, there are some hackers that are extremely intelligent. They have code that's just incredible. But the majority of hackers are there using extremely, extremely simple ways of getting into your computer. They're not even trying hard. If you give this opportunity to them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm sorry, but you're giving the hackers an extremely, extremely easy access to everything. Basically, you're telling them, let's go, hack my computer, hack my accounts. In the years that I've been a tech guy, I can tell you one thing is that I've been, as a tech guy, called for many, many, many hacks in Hotmail accounts and Google accounts of all sorts. And what is the most popular way of being hacked is because they've used something like this. So maybe you're saying, hey, why is it, I've got a Hotmail account. Why is it bad that a hacker takes access? I don't care. You should. You should care. We're not talking about the people that do important stuff with their accounts, because they care, because they're losing control of everything, and it's really bad. But you know what? That account, that email account that you've got hacked, okay? Didn't you think a little further ahead? It's easy to say, I don't care if my Hotmail gets hacked, but think of all your friends and family that a hacker will now send links, viruses, all sorts of things that are bad to lure them into trying to get their money. So if your family, your friends are in the list in your Hotmail and you get hacked and you think it doesn't matter, you're an idiot. Because the thing is, it is very important because your friends, maybe, if one of them doesn't understand, might lose money. One of the very, very popular way of losing money with email accounts, they hack into your account, and it's your best friend. It's, your daughter, your son, your mother. And you know what? Starts with, hey, look, I'm on vacation and I lost everything. I don't have any money. I really, really, really need a few thousand. Can you send me a couple of hundred, a couple of $1,000? And, I'll pay you back when I go home. I'll pay you back when I go home. But I'm really, really in deep trouble here. Well, you know what? That's a very popular way of stealing money from people you love. So your account gets hacked. They're sending out these requests to everybody, your friends. I'm in trouble. I need money. And they're stealing money. That's why, yes, it's damn important that your accounts are, got hacked, because it has consequence. And the thing is, a lot of people are too dumb and stupid to understand that there's a consequence to things that are happening. And this is the world we live in. And that's why hackers have the great, great side of it, because of the way we live and the way we do things. So we got to be careful with that. It's very important. Don't use a good password like this. Use something complex. Use something that's very, very difficult. I'd rather have you use 3 times the same password that's extremely, completely, really, really, really complex than 13 variants of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 5. Please don't do things like that. What else do we have? Botnets. What's a botnet? Sometimes we're thinking about how a website gets shut down because of a denial of service attack. That's simply a big number of computers going on one website and saying, okay, I want to have access to google.com tonight. And you'll just program 1 billion computers, and 1 billion computers will access google.com at the same time. What's going to happen? It's out of service. Why? Because it's made for a certain traffic. It's made for a maximum of traffic, but there's a number of traffic that when it is too high, unfortunately, it is a problem. It can't handle it. There's just too much happening with that. So basically, botnets, it's a number of computers that are plugged in, and all these computers will be doing something, sending a request. Now you're maybe saying, wow, these guys have a lot of means. They are using 1 million computers. Wow. How do they get access to 1 million computers? That's the catch. I was talking about viruses, Trojans. I was talking about rootkits. That's where it gets important. When you are infected and you don't know it, you're a botnet. You're part of a botnet, probably. That means your computer, if an attack is launched on the web, is part of the millions of computers that attack a website. You know what? If everybody would be secure, if everybody would do what it takes to be secure and make sure there's no viruses, they couldn't even do this type of attack because they wouldn't have enough power. They wouldn't have enough computers to do the attack. But thanks to a lot of people being careless, not really, thinking about what the implications could be of being infected about something, what happens is that these people help hackers get these really, really big networks. And you know what? Botnets are worth a fortune. One of the reports I was seeing in the past few weeks is that in Russia, a botnet of 1 million computers would cost about $25,000. But the thing is, this botnet is not sold at one person or at one group. This botnet that's $25,000 that has 1 million computers in it is sold, you know, 1,000 times. So 1,000 times $25,000. That's a hell of a lot of money suddenly. So that's the thing. That's another way these guys are able to do bad stuff, because we offer them almost on a silver plate these options. So, a virus in your computer, people don't think about that, but a virus in your computer can mean that you were part of an attack. So when you see in the news, oh, this website was offline, Amazon.com was offline for 2 days, for 3 days, for 6 hours. That's computers, regular computers in our homes that were sending out an attack. So your computer infected with a virus was part of a botnet that attacked the website. So it gives access to millions of computers that at the same time can launch an attack over the web. So that's pretty serious. That's why computer security is much more important than you think, because what you do with your computer impacts not only you, not only your family, not only your friends, it impacts the world. It impacts everything we do every day. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. So, what other means do these people have to get our attention? Something called social engineering. That's a very popular way of doing something. Social engineering. What's social engineering exactly? It's using the fact that a human being will very often trust too easily another human being. And so what they do is a hacker will go on a website. Say the hacker wants to have control of a government agency. Okay? Say that they want to have control of some computers, steal some data from, I don't know, a department in their government. So like I don't know what we'll choose. Maybe income tax. That department that always checks for your income tax and everything. And like the IRS in the United States. What they're going to do is they're going to go on the website and they're going to look at the names of people that work there. Yeah, they're going to look at the names of people that work there. Okay, so I found this girl called Susan. She's head of department at this agency. Okay, so she's called Susan. You got the full name, you got the email, and now you get this girl to call. And this girl's going to call and say, hi, she's going to call the government agency, say, hey, I'm Susan from the head department. And look, I'm really sorry, but I seem to have lost the access to my account on my computer at work. And I don't understand. I thought the password was that, but unfortunately, it seems that it's not a good password. What can we do? And so because of the fact that now you're talking and pretending to be Susan from the head of department, you're nice, you're just saying nice things, kind of, oh, wow, hey, you guys are so great at the IT department. It's so much fun. I appreciate having a nice department. So, the IT guy at the other end, he's talking to a girl. He's like, oh, wow, maybe, it's my chance to have a night out tonight. And It's like, oh, wow, she sounds cute on the phone. And, oh, poor her, she lost her password. We're going to help. Now, well, that's social engineering for you. It's the way of cleverly manipulating human beings and giving you details they should not because they think you're somebody else. That's a very, very popular way of doing such a thing. And there's a great example that happened a few weeks ago. There was talk a few weeks ago about the FBI. A hacker group posted on a website the names, address, and phone numbers of hundreds of thousands of FBI employees in the United States. And when the news came, it was like, oh, wow, that's incredible. So now you're thinking, how can they do that? And everybody thinks in their little mind that, oh my God, these hackers are just so good. They went into the systems and stole these information. I mean, these guys were just very good communicators. They were very good at talking to somebody there and pretending and being nice. And so what we learned is this guy from, a teenager, 16 years old, from the UK. You know what he did? He first tried, he went to the website of the FBI and he tried going into accounts by trying passwords and stuff, but he couldn't. It was impossible. So he called the IT department and he said, hey, I'm Fred. Fred from head office. Look, I seem to have lost the password to my to access to my intranet. The intranet is that inner network. You've got the internet outside, but in the business, you've got the intranet. It's inside. But the inside intranet has access to the outside world. But that access is supposed to be pretty secure as long as everybody participates and does it well. As long as the IT department's good. And so basically, that guy called up and said, look, I'm Fred. I lost my access to my intranet. And I don't know if you can help me with that. Well, you know what? The IT guy said, happens all the time. Here, Fred, here's the password. That's a temporary password you can get in. And there it is. He's got inside the intranet, and he's got everything he wanted to know. And he took a few 100,000 names, address, phone numbers, and he posted that on the web. And you know what? It has a big, big implication because it means that some people could be at risk because now we know, oh, that guy is an agent of the FBI and he's been talking to us, the bad guys. So that guy is not the guy we want to talk to. So it has a lot of implications, and everybody needs to participate, and that's the important thing here. Everybody needs to be aware of everything that's happening. Needs to be aware that anytime somebody can call you, somebody can ask you something, and you know what? They don't want you good. They're actually there to do bad stuff. So it's pretty amazing. When you think about it, all the social side, all the things that these guys can think about, it's just amazing. Another way hackers get information: packet sniffers. What's a packet sniffer? You're in a public Wi-Fi. There's no password. Ever wondered why there's no password in a public Wi-Fi? Of course, to make it easy to everyone to get to the access of the internet. That's nice, but there's one problem there. A lot of people in a public Wi-Fi area are actually there to get access to personal information, get access to all sorts of details, and that they do it with packet sniffers. What's a packet sniffer? You know what? I tried one once on a computer. Basically, you sit there and you wait, and at some point, the packet sniffer will be able to find something that it can go through and give me information. So there was a flaw at some point in some routers where you could install a piece of software, Firesheep, in Firefox, and that would actually make you view the pages of the websites that the person was actually going through. Basically, it's because in public Wi-Fi that have no passwords, and that's very important. If it has no password, all the little bits of data, packets, you know, when you're on your own network, your computer and your router sending little bits of data here and there. That's packets. That's how it works. So basically, that's how it works. I'm just gonna shut the phone off. Forgot to shut it off. So basically what happens is that the packet sniffers will be able to view the little packets because there's no password, they're not encrypted. They're out in the open. Somebody with the good tools, the right tools, can actually view the stuff there. And so basically, they get to a point where they find some packets that they can actually read and they can actually do really something with it and find information. So basically, between your computer, between the router, they found out what you're doing. You might find out that you've gone into an account, had password, you bought something on a website, maybe they could see what you're doing. Now that's a little more complex because if you're on a bank site or if you're on a site where you're buying something, usually they're using HTTPS, which is a secure website, and that is encrypted in general. So even if the router is not encrypted, the communication between your computer and the other computer is encrypted, so it should not be. But packet sniffing is really a technique of monitoring every packet and trying to find useful information in there. So when you're on a public network, try to be really, do the minimum that you can. Don't do important stuff. Don't use credit cards. Don't go to your bank sites, stuff like that. Some people out there are there just to find a way to, get information. And that's why, as a tech guy, everywhere that I've installed public Wi-Fi in a business, I always said, should be a password. Even if it's an easy password, it's better with a password because no password means packets are not encrypted. But with a password, packets are encrypted. So you cannot sniff a packet. It's encrypted. There's no way of viewing what's inside. Phishing is another great way of having people get information. What is phishing? So phishing is, we're sending you an email and we're like, oh, you know what? Last year you were participating in a contest last year, and last year, we did the drawing now, and you win $10,000. But there's a little problem. So you'll have to click this link in the email, and this link is going to bring you to a page where, oh, you have to enter your personal details, including bank account, because we want to deposit that 10,000 bucks in your account. Another thing of phishing. Oh, this is your credit card. We're sorry, but we've actually blocked access to the credit card today. There was some illegal activity. Sorry, can you click this link? Sorry, here, losing my voice. So, why not click this link and make sure that all your accounts are right, and they send you to this page. It's an exact copy, a perfect copy, or almost. Not always. Very often there are little details you can, view, but that page looks like the bank page or the credit card company page. And it's like, oh, uh, give me your credit card number and the little 3 codes on the back and the expiry date. What's your name and what's your full address? Well, basically, you're just giving them everything they need to use your credit card and buy something on the web. So, don't be fooled by phishing attempts. Anything that comes through your email and says you have problems, there's something with your account, never click the link. Never. You know what you do? Oh, your PayPal account has been deactivated because of illegal activity. Don't click the link. Open a web browser, go and type paypal.com, enter your credentials, get in your account, check if it's okay. It's one of the easy ways they have to actually get money. Oh, you know what? Your bank account has been, there's some illegal activity. Oh, your Amazon account, some people were trying to do some illegal, some buying off of your Amazon account, and we're not sure, Never. Okay? A bank, a credit card, there's something wrong, they're going to call you by the phone. There's something wrong, call your bank. Call the number in the back of your card. Never answer something like that. This is one of the easy ways they have access to your money and steal your money. So it's very important to be careful with that. It's really one of the bad things out there. And why do they do it, basically? Why do they do it? They do it for the money. Back in the 90s, 80s, it's been a long time. I mean, the first time I was in the presence of hackers and crackers. And by the way, the difference is that crackers will usually more likely crack code on software and stuff like that. Hackers will be the ones that will break into systems. There's a very different. There's a line between both of them. In the 80s, I had a Commodore 64 computer or a Commodore 128. And I remember hackers back then with the first BBSs, the bulletin board systems. They would try to hack into the accounts of everybody. So you see that as far as computer networks started happening, somebody somewhere said, there must be a way to go inside the system. There must be a way to access all that information and maybe make, later, because back then it was like, oh, it's cool. I have access. It's fun. I tried my hands, in the late 80s, early 90s. I remember trying a few things to see if I can hack into some accounts and stuff. But some varying success. I did have some success on some stuff. But I was not the kind of hacker that would wanted to do bad things. I was just, oh, it's so cool. I got access to somebody else's information. But it was just, for me, it was just, well, it was cool. But as time goes by, today the hackers, they want to make money. This is the only reason why they're there. They want to make a lot of money. They want to be there to make sure that, they can steal your money, your credit card, your bank information, do some, maybe some purchase on your accounts, stuff like that. So that's why it's very, very difficult. They want to steal information. Some of the bad guys, they want to show to the world how careless some agency. You know what? Some will just hack into, and these are like, the white hats that I was talking at the beginning. They will hack into a government agency. And they're going to say, okay, look, they're going to tell the world, we hacked into this agency. We're giving you a month to fix the problem, or we're going to release information that we did get on your website. These are not necessarily bad guys. What they want to do is help the world have secure places secure access to everything they need. It's a very, very complex issue. And, the bad guys win because of the flaws and of the way of the human mind. There's always a bad guy. Somebody asked me once, how come these guys do that? I would try to do it. I never succeed. And my answer was, if some people have for a job being a teacher, being a fireman, being a policeman, being, a cashier, but some people decided that their jobs is stealing. Their jobs is hacking. And when you do your job, and your job is 40, 50, 60 hours a week of hacking, you get good at it. You really get good at it because you're doing that all the time. It's pretty amazing. So, what I have to say for everyone, one of the things that I have to say is to be secure, okay? To be secure, remember the rule that things aren't always as they seem. It's not true that you've won $1 million at the Spanish lottery. It's not necessarily true. Think about it 2 seconds. Say you got an email from your best friend. Hey, I'm in Cuba. Everything got stolen. Don't have any money. And I really need cash now. Okay. Why don't you, first of all, think, is my best friend in Cuba? Did she tell me or he tell me I'm in Cuba? Don't jump right away on the panic zone. And that's the thing, these guys are excellent. They're trying to get that little something inside you where they're trying to have you panic instantly. And that works. If they tell you, hey, it was just a $3,000 transaction on your credit card, what happens? You're panicking in front of your computer almost instantly. That's what they want. Because when you panic, you don't think. You just panic. So you click. And it's like, oh yeah, oh my God, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go on the website and click the link and enter my credit card personal information. Okay, now you're gonna get $3,000 off your credit card for sure. Your friend, oh my God, my mother needs help. She's in another country. Is she really? Why don't you just call her and see if she's home or something, That's the thing with these hackers. They try to get us at our really, and in our little spots where we are vulnerable, where we can immediately think someone's in danger that we love. They're attacking our money. After attacking or almost equal attacking our loved ones, hey, they are attacking my money. I'm scared. I'm scared immediately. I have a great one that I always share with my clients. I got a credit card from a bank here in Montreal many years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago. And sometimes when there's just this alignment of planets, or I don't know. So I get like nice shiny credit cards, high limit, everything is all right. 2 days later, oh, there's illegal activity on your account, and it's the same bank. So think about it. You've got your new credit card. 48 hours later, there's illegal activity on your account in an email. Same bank. I remember that day thinking, wow, at first I had like my heart do like a 360 because it was like, what? Then I calmed down and I thought, it was like, whoa, okay, I'm going to go on the web, I'm going to check my credit card. There's nothing wrong. I can access my credit card. I could see everything. No transactions. But it gave me a lesson in some way because it showed me that as a tech guy, as a guy that knows that there's dirty tricks out there, for an instant, I almost fell for it because the coincidence was just so incredible. So I understand why a lot of people can get caught. A lot of people can get caught. And we got to be careful. We got to make sure that we abide by rules, not clicking links. No, I always tell everyone your best friend and your family is your worst enemy in computer security. And it will always be. And the reason why it's always that is because your best friend, your family, they're people that you trust. So you trust them indirectly by the computer also. And it's a big problem. You don't trust your friends. Don't trust your family on a computer. Oh, my nephew is pretty good in computers, so that must be. No. Think of everybody being bad and everybody doesn't know what they do. Think of everybody being hacked and that you should not respond to that. And you know what? You'll be just fine. And don't get lured into some hacker's, claw by clicking on that software that does everything you want, downloading that porno movie with, finally, you're going to see Laurie Anderson naked. Come on. We have to be careful with these things because it's your security, but it's also everybody else's security to make sure everything is all right. So this was Tech Show number 7 for March the 1st, 2016. If you enjoy my show, hope you were here every Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2300 hours UTC. And we talk about a different subject. Next week in our show, we will talk about how does a computer work from the beginning to the end. From the time you press the start button, that little on button, what happens in the computer exactly? And what makes that computer go from zero, nothing, black screen, to, hey, I'm on the internet and I'm doing stuff. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the process of everything starting up in a computer. We're going to show you visually the insides of a computer. And we'll have a little visual. What is what and what does it do? So that's next week in our show. And that, of course, was a request by you, the viewer. How does a computer work? And what does it do from start to when I'm on the internet to closing time? So take care, everyone. It was nice to have this Learn the Tech show for tonight. Hope you enjoyed. Hope it didn't scare you too much, because hackers are there and they're actually doing, as we speak, all sorts of little things. They're trying to get information. Don't be fooled. Take care, everyone. See you next week. Learn the Tech is over.